I think we actually might have just seen the worst call in the entire history of sport. And like, this is a shock that it is actually not DiJonai Carrington committing a flagrant foul. DiJonai Carrington got flagrantly fouled.
What happens when a player becomes more famous for chaos than for basketball? For DiJonai Carrington, that question just got answered. The Dallas Wings didn't just trade her, they essentially gave her away. After a season of flagrant fouls, teammate injuries, and a security incident, they shipped her to the Chicago Sky for a single third-round draft pick. That's the price for being a walking liability. This is the player whose season was a highlight reel of bad behavior. An infamous eye poke on Caitlin Clark, a reckless foul that injured her own teammate, and a post-game meltdown so intense that a referee had to call security. So, how did a player with so much potential become a problem the league couldn't ignore? How did a team reach a point where they'd rather have nothing than a player like her? Today, we're breaking down the full story of DiJonai Carrington's explosive downfall.
Now, if you watch here, Gabby Williams is going up for a little mid-range jumper. DiJonai jumps to try to block her, and she comes down to where Gabby Williams doesn't have enough landing space. So she lands in her landing space, and then Gabby Williams rolls her ankle.
The dirty plays, the relentless backlash, and the moment Dallas finally said, "We're done," because when your own team sees you as a bigger risk than an opponent, you're not just playing hard, you're a problem. The Caitlin Clark eye poke may have been her most high-profile moment, but it wasn't a one-off. It was a symptom of a larger problem that fans were now actively searching for. The cameras were no longer just on her defensive prowess, they were on her every move, and sure enough, the evidence piled up. Just a few weeks earlier, in a game against the Seattle Storm, Carrington was again at the center of controversy. As Skylar Diggins-Smith drove to the basket, Carrington delivered a hard shove to her back, sending her crashing into the hoop stanchion. The referees didn't hesitate. It was a flagrant foul. This wasn't a play on the ball. It was a physical statement that went beyond the rules of the game.
So once again, DiJonai Ratchet as Carrington is back at it again, being the dirty player that she is, man. So now we're pulling players to the floor by their hair. But what did we tweet earlier this week, everybody? Y'all fans swear I'm such a dirty player. I'm so over this narrative. But I just play hard as and I just make a play on the ball, and I'm tired of people calling me a dirty player.
For fans and analysts, it was clear this was not tough defense, it was targeted aggression. Social media erupted with comments like, "That's not physicality, that's a trash play." The incident marked a turning point for Carrington. Officials began watching her differently, flagging her as a repeat offender. Every time she got physical, the crowd held its breath. The dirty player label was no longer just a fan theory. It was becoming a factual description of her game. She was no longer a rising star, she was a player the league had to monitor, and her own team was starting to feel the consequences. This is an excellent next step. The incident with her own teammate is a crucial part of the narrative, as it highlights that her aggressive style was a risk to her own team, not just opponents. Let's do a quick fact check to make sure the details are precise and then apply those corrections to make the section more dynamic.
DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai.
If the Caitlin Clark incident raised eyebrows, what happened next made people question if DiJonai Carrington even cared about the safety of those around her, including her own teammates. Rewind to July 2023. Dallas Wings versus the New York Liberty. Carrington, known for her aggressive style, was once again flying around the court, but this time, her reckless abandon had a devastating effect on her own team. During a routine play, she went in with a wild challenge against an opponent, but instead of making a clean defensive play, she crashed directly into her own teammate, Satu Sabely, sending her tumbling awkwardly to the floor. The result was a brutal knee injury that took Sabely out of the game and sidelined her for a significant period. The arena went silent as teammates rushed to Sabely's side, and in that moment, the true cost of Carrington's style was laid bare.
Does not look nor play like she's 35. Okay, she be bringing it to them girls each and every night. She got that, acting like that face harness, okay, like to protect her face, her eyes, her nose, whatever that is. She be look like a dominatrix to me. I'd be like, bro, who is that? She looks like it's giving Scarecrow, or like a Black Raven vibe, okay, like a hawk. And she looks like a bird of prey, okay? And that's how she plays. She plays like a bird of prey, while the other girls in the court are just worms to her, okay? They are bird food because she be cooking and eating everybody.
And Carrington, she shrugged it off as if it were just another hustle play. But for the Wings, it was far more than a mistake. It was a glaring red flag. When your own teammate gets hurt because you can't control your aggression, that's not passion, that's a problem. Behind the scenes, frustration started to boil over. Players weren't just worried about the opponents anymore. They were worried about playing alongside Carrington. The Sabley incident became a key piece of evidence in the growing case against her, because once you start taking out your own team, the writing's on the wall. And for Carrington's time in Dallas, the clock was ticking faster than anyone could have imagined. By now, DiJonai Carrington's reputation was hanging by a thread, but instead of dialing it back, she seemed to double down.
So the ball gets swung. Janelle Salon shoots the ball. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. So DiJonai Carrington is just shielding the ball out of bounds. She's just shielding the ball out of bounds, as you do. And Tiffany Hayes tackles her to the ground. Tackles her to the ground.
And this time, her target was one of the league's most respected veterans, Skylar Diggins-Smith. It happened in 2023 during a heated matchup against the Seattle Storm. Diggins-Smith was running the floor, doing what she's known for, pushing the pace and leading a fast break. But as she drove to the basket for a layup, Carrington came flying in from behind not to block the shot, but to deliver a hard two-handed shove to Diggins-Smith's back. There was no play on the ball, just a blatant, dangerous push that sent the star crashing to the floor. The referees didn't hesitate. It was immediately ruled a flagrant foul.
Skylar's going down for a fast break layup. DiJonai winds up and smacks her across the head, and Skylar is on the ground having a hard time getting up. But this was something where people are saying, okay, DiJonai, this is happening a little bit too much for my liking. These hard fouls, these reckless plays are happening a little bit too much. And I want to show you guys one more play that was also in that game that actually injured Gabby Williams.
The crowd booed and Diggins-Smith was shaken up. For fans watching at home, it was confirmation. Carrington wasn't just playing basketball. She was playing to intimidate. Commentators called it out immediately. One analyst said, "That's not tough defense, that's just reckless." If she wasn't aiming for the ball, what was she aiming for? It was a fair question. And for the league, it was another troubling moment in a growing file on Carrington's dangerous tendencies. Whether it was rookies like Caitlin Clark or seasoned pros like Diggins-Smith, the pattern was clear. She didn't respect anyone. Fans flooded social media with outrage. How many chances does she get? She's going to seriously hurt someone. This is why no one wants to play with her. Carrington wasn't just picking up fouls, she was picking fights. And the league, the refs, and even her own team were getting tired of it. But if you thought that was the end of the drama, you were wrong. It was only just getting started. By this point, DiJonai Carrington wasn't just controversial, she was infamous. But what happened on May 29, 2025 crossed a line that most players never even come close to. The Dallas Wings had just lost a heartbreaker to the Chicago Sky. Emotions were running high, tensions boiling over. But no one expected what came next. After the final buzzer, Carrington confronted referee Roy Gobain about a call. It was a heated exchange, but what happened next was unheard of. The referee, trained to handle tense situations, felt so uncomfortable that he did the unthinkable. He called security to protect himself from a player. Let that sink in. This wasn't an ejection. This wasn't a fight. This was a professional official saying, "I don't feel safe. Get someone out here." The visual of a ref literally hiding behind a security guard to de-escalate an interaction with a player instantly went viral. Fans in the arena were stunned. Players on both sides stared in disbelief. And for the Dallas Wings, this was rock bottom. Their player had just triggered a security intervention not for breaking the law, but for being too volatile to handle after a loss. Carrington, of course, tried to downplay it. On social media, she wrote, "Security when I'm literally having a civil conversation is insane." But by then, no one was buying it. The public had seen enough. Coaches, analysts, and fans all agreed this wasn't just passion, it was chaos. And it wasn't the kind of chaos that wins games. It was the kind that tears teams apart. For Dallas management, this was the final straw. When referees need protection from your player, you've got a problem that can't be ignored. The decision was made. It was time to move on from DiJonai Carrington before her presence did any more damage to the team and the organization. After a season of controversy, chaos, and public backlash, the Dallas Wings finally pulled the trigger. On August 2025, the team announced that DiJonai Carrington had been traded to the Minnesota Lynx. And what did Dallas get in return? They received two players, the promising young forward Diamond Miller, veteran guard Carly Samuelson, and a 2027 second-round draft pick. This wasn't a fire sale. This was the Wings cutting their losses and getting real value for a player who, despite her talent, had become a distraction. Carrington's exit wasn't just about her stats, it was about clearing the air. The Wings were tired of the dirty fouls, the injuries, the drama, and the security incidents. Her presence had become a liability and, most importantly, a threat to team chemistry. By shipping her off to a top team, Dallas made it clear winning starts with culture, and Carrington was poisoning theirs. The message from the front office was loud and clear: no more excuses, no more second chances. Carrington's time in Dallas was over. Now, she was Minnesota's problem. The league-leading Lynx had just taken a massive gamble, trading away two players for a controversial star in the middle of a championship run. The question was no longer about what Dallas lost, it was whether Carrington's on-court chaos could derail a winning culture. Now, DiJonai Carrington finds herself in Minnesota under a new spotlight and with zero margin for error. And leading the Lynx, the legendary Cheryl Reeve, a coach known for her 4 championships, fierce discipline, and zero tolerance for anything that derails the team. Let's be real, Carrington isn't walking into a rebuilding team with nothing to lose. The Lynx are a title contender, a well-oiled machine that competes hard and plays clean. And now, they've just brought in the most controversial player in the league. Why? Because the Lynx believe Carrington's defensive talent is worth the risk. But here's the truth. This is likely her last chance. Cheryl Reeve is not going to tolerate flagrant fouls, reckless injuries, or meltdowns with referees. Carrington won't be able to hide behind excuses or downplay her behavior here. Every move she makes will be under a microscope. Every foul, every argument, every misstep will be watched by the league, the media, and fans who are waiting to see if she can change. Because the Lynx believe Carrington's defensive talent is worth the risk. But here's the truth. This is likely her last chance. Cheryl Reeve is not going to tolerate flagrant fouls, reckless injuries, or meltdowns with referees. Carrington won't be able to hide behind excuses or downplay her behavior here. Every move she makes will be under a microscope. Every foul, every argument, every misstep will be watched by the league, the media, and fans who are waiting to see if she can change. She's no longer the hot prospect with potential. She's a walking warning sign. And now she has to prove she belongs on the court, not in the headlines. This trade wasn't about giving up on her. It was the ultimate test. The Lynx gave up a former number 2 overall draft pick to get her. Carrington isn't just fighting to fit in, she's fighting for her career. So here's the question. Can Carrington reinvent herself, focus on basketball, and leave the drama behind? Or will the pressure of playing for a champion finally break her? DiJonai Carrington's story isn't just about one player getting traded, it's about a league that's finally drawing the line. For years, her aggressive style was shrugged off as passion. But after injuring her own teammate, getting a referee to call security, and having her name become synonymous with controversy, that excuse finally ran out. The Dallas Wings didn't just trade a player, they sent a message. They received 2 players in return, but what they really gained was peace of mind. Her exit wasn't a loss. It was a win for team chemistry and culture. Now, it's the Minnesota Lynx's turn to deal with the storm. Carrington is in a new city under the watchful eye of a demanding championship coach, Cheryl Reeve. The Lynx didn't bring her in to be a headline, they brought her in to play a key role on a championship team. The question is, can she rise to the occasion, or will she crash out for good? Because in the WNBA and in life, you don't get unlimited chances. Carrington's time to prove herself is right now. And if she can't control her game, her next stop might not be another team, it might be out of the league completely.